Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode from Your Own Pathway Leadership and Mental Wellbeing. For those who don't know me, my name is Paya. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and trauma informed leadership consultant. I help leaders realign to their values to rebuild trust because leadership isn't just about performance, it's about how power impacts people. So let's own it. Well, it is March and it's only March and we are in the third month of the year and um it's my third episode for Target. So, welcome back to my Target series. And yes, Target is in the news again and this is now again my third episode about Target and at this point unintentionally, unofficially, and officially, Target has become a leadership case study series for what happens when organizations lose alignment between their ethics, values, leadership, and public trust. So, if you haven't seen my previous two episodes about Target, which I'll link in the description box below, because those episodes explain the earlier leadership patterns and decisions that led to where the company is now. And today's episode is basically the next chapter in this story. So let's talk about this. Why does Target keep showing up in the news? So I know that there's so much going on in the world right now, and I don't blame you if you don't know what's going on with Target because, again, honestly, there's so much chaos in the world, and um, sometimes business is something that we don't think about. But recently, Target was in the news again because there have been multiple reports about Target planning to spend billions, that's right, B, not M, B, billions of dollars trying to bring customers back. And we're talking about roughly $2 billion in new investments and potentially $5 to $6 billion in broader spending plans. So, what does this money include? So, this also includes plans such as store remodels, new store openings, technology upgrades, merchandising upgrades, and customer experience improvements. Now, on the surface, these strategies make sense from a business standpoint. But here's the leadership question I keep asking when I see stories like this. Are they solving the right problem? Because sometimes organizations invest an enormous amount of resources fixing symptoms rather than addressing the actual root issue. So, moving on, what is the actual issue with Target? Well, if you watch my other episodes, the main issue with Target is trust. Yes. So, this is where leadership and systems thinking becomes important. Why? Because what Target is dealing with right now is not just a retail problem. It's not just about the store layout. It's not just about lighting. Yes, it's not about lighting. It's not about the aesthetics. The deeper issue with Target is trust. Because when trust fractures between an organization and its customers, that relationship changes. And rebuilding that relationship is not something that happens quickly. Why? Because it requires consistency, integrity, and alignment between what the company says and what it actually does. But when organizations focus primarily on external fixes, such as the store designs, marketing strategies, visual improvements, without actually addressing the internal dynamics, that created the trust fracture in the first place. And the public often senses that misalignment. So, moving on, one of the things I remember a long time ago, I was in high school and I took a business class because I thought, you know what, I want to do international business. One of the first things that they taught us was know your consumer base. And let's talk about Target's consumer base here. So, Target's consumer base is another conversation that people often overlook and who they actually are. Historically, Target has attracted a consumer base that tends to be suburban and urban families, college educated, millennial parents. So I'm a millennial, I'm an elder millennial. I'm not a parent, but I did love shopping at Target, not gonna lie. Household earning is roughly between $60,000 to $80,000 or more per year. And this demographic that shops there is often very values aware. Is what I meant to say is many of these consumers care deeply about things like corporate values, ethical leadership, social responsibility. Look, my thumb is even up there. Social responsibility and how companies treat people. So, when a brand like Target becomes associated with inconsistency about values or leadership decisions, that demographic, like our demographic, we notice, we pay attention. And sometimes they and we, as a millennial, we respond by simply withdrawing trust. And my whole intention and purpose of doing this episode, especially with a look at systems, is misalignment is very, very expensive. And we're seeing this right here with Target. And this is where the leadership lesson becomes very clear. Why? Again, misalignment is very expensive. When organizations lose alignment between their values, ethics, and leadership decisions, the cost eventually shows up somewhere. Sometimes it shows up internally through employee disengagement, morale issues, leadership instability, and other times it shows up externally through customer distrust, reputational damage. My previous episode about Target was all about their reputational damage, financial consequences. We're seeing this. And what we're seeing right now is the financial side of that misalignment. Why? Because now Target has an initiative spending billions of dollars and being invested in trying to bring back customers back. But the thing is, trust is not something that you can simply purchase back. You cannot repair relational fractures with money. How do you do this? You repair those fractures with alignment. And this includes alignment between values, alignment between leadership actions, alignment between what the organization claims to stand for and what it actually demonstrates. So I got this inspiration to do this episode, not because of my other two episodes too, but of course because of that also. But I was actually watching a reel, okay, on Instagram. For those that watch me, you're probably like, girl, you're on Instagram a lot. Yes, I am on Instagram, and it is actually part of my work process to, kind of know what's going on also. And so this reel really inspired me to do this episode. And the funny thing was the person that did this, reel about Target, said something very interesting. The person who did the reel said, you know what? Target should be studied. And it should be studied as a psychological case study, that someone from a psychological or mental health background should analyze what's happening here from a systems perspective. They kind of said it that. So I changed it to make it more, systems and mental health and leadership. But basically, they were saying somebody needs to really study why Target is not listening and learning their lesson. And when I heard that, I laughed. I laughed aloud. I was like, oh my goodness, I do that already. Because this is, again, my third episode about Target, and it's only March. But what we are watching here about Target is not just a retail story. And that's why this creator was talking about Target needs to be studied, and it really does. And, even though I'm saying all this as a joke, it's a joke as in a funny. It's like, really, Target, all the signs are there. Everybody's telling you why they're not shopping at Target. And yet you go and say, you know what? It's our store design, it's our lights, it's our aesthetics. We need more stores. And people are telling them why they're not shopping. And so that's the humorous and also not humorous part, because Target is a systems and misalignment story about what happens when a organization chooses not to listen to their consumers and what they're saying. So let's talk about this. Like I mentioned that this is my third episode and in doing Target, and I have a clinical background. You heard me at the beginning. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and now a trauma informed leadership consultant. And why does someone in my background have the expertise to speak about this versus someone who has like a business degree or human resource? And I'm gonna explain why. So, because of my clinical background, we as a social worker, we have a lot of part of my training, not a lot, but a lot of it too. But part of my training was looking at systems as a whole and the person in the environment. And having the clinical systems training actually prepares someone with my background to look at systems and systematic dynamics. In fields like social work and therapy, we study things like ethics, trust, power dynamics, accountability, relational rupture, and how systems either support or harm the people inside them. Honestly, this is like what we do in our weekly case consultation studies. And so looking at Target is a perfect case that, if this was a client, we will be doing a case study analysis on right now, weekly with just not just with our colleagues, but a lot of time with our interns and our social work students also. So those are the same dynamics that show up in organizations, because organizations are ultimately human systems. And when human systems lose alignment with their values and integrity, the consequences ripple outward. So, I kind of have this running joke right now that if Target leadership, if anyone from Target is, or their leadership team or executive team, whoever watches this, I just want to say that I'm here to help you, because I'm right here in Minnesota. I'm here in the Twin Cities. You're like 20 minutes away from me. Your office is like 20 minutes away from me, and I can literally Uber to your office. So think about the logistics savings. And if you're another organization somewhere else watching this episode, I want you to really consider and say, you know what, Target is a case study of what not to do. And so really, it is a joke, but seriously, for organizations like Target who may be going through the same things as Target or who don't, who are trying to be preventative, learn from Target on what not to do. And so, if your organization, again, watching this, because you want to understand what to do or not what to do, here is the lesson. The main thing is trust. You cannot buy trust. Yes, money can definitely renovate buildings. Yes, money can definitely upgrade lighting. Yes, money can improve aesthetics and the experiences. But the thing is, money cannot buy trust. Only integrity can rebuild that. And until organizations are willing to confront the foundational issues such as values, ethics, and leadership alignment, they will, they will, or you will continue to spend resources trying to fix something that money alone cannot repair. So, yes, in my closing statement here for ending this video. So, yes, this is my third episode about Target, as I mentioned in the beginning. And honestly, I would not be surprised if this becomes an ongoing series because what we are watching here unfolds is real time case study in leadership, in trust, ethics, and systems behavior. And those lessons are that organizations everywhere can learn from. So, that is all I have for you all today. And, this episode was kind of, I don't want to say not serious, it is serious because you are spending a lot of resources. And I want to say that misalignment in all is expensive. Misalignment from your values, from your ethics, and especially from your integrity is expensive. So I hope that if you choose to watch this episode, I hope that you gain some knowledge and really, really look at your own systems and see, what? Are we ready to face the foundational issues that have caused us external external issues that maybe we were not ready to address and we are now ready to address because there's been too much misalignment that has caused us more. So, this is your own pathway, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, lead with alignment, lead with regulation, lead with accountability, and especially lead with integrity and own it. Take care. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.